for taking the time to invest in yourself and for showing up, because I know that some of you probably had to like arrange babysitting and you had to, you know, chat up your husband a little bit to make sure you're here. So yeah, I had to chat my husband a little bit. So thank you all so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to show up for yourself. One of the reasons why I started Mojo, honestly, was because I really wanted to bring women together in a meaningful way. And I'm gonna cry. I wanted to bring women together in a meaningful way because there's a lot of women empowerment, out there. There's girl power. There's go and crush your dreams. But I'm like, oh, I have to put kids to bed. I have to change diapers. I have to, drop off and pick up. And my husband is supposed to be hot. I'm supposed to be feeding my kids organic. I'm supposed to be slim, sexy, gluten-free. Like, you guys don't understand. It's not just crushing, girl power and everything. There's a lot that is happening in the context of mom. And so for me, really helping women live up to their truest potential in motherhood is near and dear to my heart. And I want you to know that you being here today is a testament to the fact that women need more and you deserve more, even in motherhood, right? Because so many times you're out there and you're like, oh, can I really do this? Is this really working? So I want to challenge you today we have amazing speakers, guys. I mean, they're all beautiful, and if I can say so myself, but they're also knowledgeable. They're thought leaders, experts, innovators, amazing women that are thriving in motherhood, and so are you. So I want you, as you go about your day, please make friends. Let's start building that village. The reason we started this is to have a community of women that really band together and stand together in motherhood, making it meaningful, healthy, productive, fulfilling. So please take inventory of what's working, guys. There's so many things that are working in motherhood that you're not paying attention to. You're so strong. You've done so many things. You've come this far. Take inventory of what's working. Take inventory of what's not working. And talk about that amongst yourself. Lean in. Stand together in motherhood. I'm going to introduce our speaker, our very first keynote, Shannon Murphy. So a lot of you may know her. Raise your hand if you don't know Shannon. Okay. So Shannon is amazing. I met Shannon when I think I emailed her and I was like, can we meet right now at Birmingham Roast? And she was like, yeah, I'm walking out, but yeah, absolutely. And she shows up sweaty and we couldn't hug each other and, I was like, I am not hugging you. But Shannon is amazing. She's the epitome of the modern woman. She's doing it all. Because what is motherhood today in the modern society? We all have competing priorities. We're burnt out. There's just so much demand on women in today's world. We've talked about everything, the expectations, right? You have to be skinny, you have to be hot, you have to be sexy, you have to be climbing the corporate ladder. And so I want you to think about Shannon today, because she's going to talk to us about that, about how women need to start redefining success on their own terms. They need to start redefining work on their own terms. We need to start thinking about how can we do things differently, because the way we've been doing things may have not been working, right? So how can we do it differently in a way that really leaves us fulfilled, healthy, and productive, and also create space for motherhood? Because our kids are the most important piece of this equation. So how do we make sure that our kids and our family are getting what they need, but we're also not left behind? So that's the real deal of Mother Honestly, is carrying mommy along. Because mommy's doing everything for everybody. But who is watching out for mommy? Mother Honestly. So thank you so much. Shannon, do you have your speech ready? All right, let's. Thank you so much, Shannon. Thanks for coming. So Shannon has so many amazing things for us today. So I'll let you lead, and I'll come back and join you on stage.
Thank you. I'm upset that I didn't get Shawn Mendes as my intro music. Because if you watch the show, you know that I have this kind of creepy obsession with him. He's 20. I had to check because anyway. Thank you so much. I feel really, really honored to be here in the company of you. When Blessing asked me to speak, and then she told me some of the other women who were speaking, I instantly got a little nervous because I do this for a living, yeah, it's fun, but the company that is in this room is incredible, so thank you. I actually wrote my speech just because I know that since I do talk for a living, my thoughts are always all over the place, so I think this is gonna work a little bit better for all of us, but we'll see. So when I moved 3 years ago, I painted my entire house white. Sherwin-Williams Snowbound. It's like the best color ever in case you're thinking about doing redecorating anytime soon. It's not too blue, it's not too gray, it's just right. Well, here's the problem with that. I now have a 4-year-old who loves to color, and a 1-year-old who doubles as a mischievous little terrorist meatball. So every day I ask myself, what the heck was I thinking? And I do blame my husband for the color choice because he was pushing it hard, but seriously. My daughter Lucy is really into treasure maps, so I'm finding these little X's drawn all over the walls. And Smith is a total boy, and so he's climbing and falling and denting, and there are dirty handprints and chunks taken out, and every boy mom in this room is nodding because you know exactly what I'm talking about. So here I am, quite the perfectionist since first grade, buying Mr. Clean magic erasers in bulk, and trying to keep the walls Sherwin-Williams Snowbound instead of Sherwin-Williams Barcelona beige with X marks the spots everywhere. And here's the analogy. Yes, my white walls don't always look so perfect. But man, what a story they tell. I've got something to say about each of those marks, stains, handprints, and X's. So why am I wasting precious time constantly scrubbing away or trying to cover them up with a pretty print from Vinted or a piece of furniture? They're messy, yep. But those walls say something about my family, about my home, and about me. I do it, and I think, and I know that we all do it. We want to feel so put together so that our friends and our coworkers and our mothers-in-law, God bless them, and our Instagram followers can think so super highly of us and remark in amazement.
There's no output on those.
She does it all. How?
Yeah, but that's one mic. We're using 4.
But my messy walls represent the reality of this season, my current season of life. I'm a working mom with 2 awesome kids who are creative and energetic and full of life, and guess what? I would rather be doing something more intentional than keeping my walls clean to show off. I don't know. Can we all just stop trying to impress people with our attempted togetherness? It's freaking exhausting, isn't it? I think so. My walls are a little messy, and I am a little messy. And when I first came in, someone mentioned this to me. I just saw you. Here you are. If you listen to Mojo in the morning, you may have heard me completely lose it on the air a few months ago. And lose it might be a strong word. Thanks. I opened up, Harley. That's what I did. At the time, I was reading this book called Present Over Perfect by Shauna Murphy. Has anyone ever heard of her? She's like the most amazing human being ever. She's the daughter of a pastor, she's a mom, she's a wife, she's a friend. She is a real, not perfect person. And one of the passages that I dog-eared, and if you read any of her books, you'll dog-ear like every other page, was this. She said, "This is what I've learned the hard way. What people think about you means nothing in comparison to what you believe about yourself. Essentially, my identity depended on outward approval, which changes on a dime. So you dance and you please and you placate and you prove. You become a three-ring circus, and in each ring, you're an entirely different performing animal, anything anyone wants you to be. When you decide finally to stop running on the fuel of anxiety, desire to prove, fear, shame, deep inadequacy, when you decide to walk away from all of that fuel for a while, there's nothing but confusion and silence. You're on the side of the road, empty tank, no idea what will propel you forward. It's disorienting, terrifying, freeing. And for a while you just sit. You sit in your own skin, being just your own plain self, and it's okay, and it changes everything. So I'm on a Delta flight reading this book, and that just about turned my world upside down to read that little piece. And I thought to myself, okay, I want to bring some positivity to my morning radio show because we do a whole lot of talking about Kanye West and Tinder and poop every day. You know this if you listen. And so I brought this idea to the boys, Mojo and Spike, and our producers. And I said, let's do a Motivational Monday segment. I'll read some quotes or some book passages that have really helped me on this journey of self-discovery and transformation that I've been on, and I'll share it with the listeners. They love it. We go live with it, and I start talking about the rough year that I've been having as the basis for this positivity segment that I wanted to create, and I didn't stop talking. I talked about the past 2 years of my life and how they have been really, really challenging. And I talked about how I've struggled, and still am very much struggling, by the way, with my purpose, my identity, my role as a friend, a sister, a mom, my marriage, everything. I have had the lowest lows ever, truly. And I confess that going to work on certain occasions and trying to be perky and a voice that people listen to try to cheer up on their way to work or school, wherever they're going, it was really, really tough. I felt so inauthentic. But I had realized that this was an opportunity to really grow and figure out who the heck I am. I was sick of faking fine, and that's the exact verbiage that I used. And I think there are a lot of people who are doing the same, and I wanted to be the one to tell them that they're not alone, and to do so in a way of keeping my own privacy, but also being transparent enough to say, look, I'm going through some stuff, and I want you to know that if you're questioning your worth as a parent or daughter, son, significant other, in your career, in your group of friends, whatever, I am too. And I may look and sound like I have it all together, but I don't. And I kept going. I needed to get it all out, and I do live my life with my listeners. So even though I couldn't see them, I knew that they were listening, and that was terrifying and freeing all at the same time. And I know I probably said too much. There were members of my family that thought and still think I'm crazy, and they remind me for sharing all of that stuff on the air with, I don't know, 1 million people in Detroit and however many listen to the iHeartRadio app. But you know what? I took off the mask that I had been wearing for so long, and it felt really darn good. That little girl who started feeling the pressure to be perfect on the first day of school at Park Lane Elementary in Roseville, Michigan, was all of a sudden lighter and clearer and honest and real. And I was really proud of myself in that moment by taking off the mask. Perfect has become such a dirty word to me. I call myself a Republican. No, I'm not going to tell you if I'm a Republican or Democrat, by the way. But if anybody uses the word perfect to describe me or my family or my kids or my wardrobe, whatever, I kind of sort of freak out. I hate that word so much. And I have been doing lots of soul searching for the past 2 years of my life, much needed soul searching. Throw a whole bunch of Jesus and some girlfriends who are walking through all of this messy stuff with me, a great counselor, stacks of good books, and I'm not gonna lie, a few dozen bottles of White Haven. It's the best if you like Sauvignon Blanc. I have to tell you, it's been gut-wrenching, but it's working. Among the numerous things I've discovered about myself, there are so many versions of Shannon, and I don't think I'm the only one who does this either. And if there's anything that comes out of you sitting in this room listening to me, I want you to hear this. If you are feeling messy or fragmented, unraveled, not yourself, if you're longing to be a different, better version of yourself, not just as a mom, but as a fierce woman in general, recalibrate with me. Become one incredible version of you. Not somebody else that you look up to, not the person you think you should be, just you. The Those different versions of Shannon I was talking about, let me explain that for a second. There's Mom Shannon. There's Shannon from Mojo in the morning. There's the Shannon at Kensington Church who volunteers. Not enough, but I will, I swear. There's the Shannon with one group of friends, my friends from growing up. There's Cupcake Shannon. That's my Instagram name. I like her. Her life looks awesome, especially with that pretty filter that's on Instagram stories. There's the Shannon with my new mom friends. There's the daughter Shannon, the sister Shannon, the wife Shannon, you get it. There are so many different versions of Shannon that sometimes I have to take a hard look in the mirror, and I do this often, and go, who the heck am I? Who are you? Who don't you want to be anymore? Who are you in the present moment? Who do you want to become? Merge all of those versions of yourself into one version. You. The real you, where the inside matches the outside. The Shannon that doesn't have to pretend with this group or put on a smiling face with the other, even when I'm hurting inside. The Shannon that feels comfortable talking about my faith with these girls and slings back wine with the others. My stance on issues, motherhood, people, Kim Kardashian's very round butt, shall remain the same no matter the company and no matter if there's a microphone in front of me. What do you need to do to get to that? I'll tell you what I've been doing, and maybe this will help you a little bit. For starters, I've been keeping 4 lists. Who I was, who I am, who I don't want to be, and who I want to be. I look at these, I actually keep them on note cards all the time. They're in my wallet right now, and I feel like that is enough to keep me in check, and I'm constantly adding to it. Second, find a community where you can be authentic. And I'm not talking about a place, I'm talking about a tribe or a squad or whatever fancy word you want to call it. Mother, honestly, there's a blessing or two. But just the people who are going to walk through this with you, encouraging you when you need it and calling you out when you deserve it, that's important. Like Blessing said, people are so hungry for real connections. And as Shannon Murphy says, those people who will look at you and tell you in your eyes, your mess is my mess too, especially with no judgment. We're in this together. Third, do things to make yourself proud. That moment on the air for me was so big. I heard Elizabeth Hasselbeck, do an interview one time, and I get it, you either love her or hate her, but hear me out here for a second. She said when she was doing The View and then Fox News, she would get off the air, go home, have her time with her family, and then in the evenings, she would reflect on her day, and she would use a checklist of 4 things to assess her day. 1, did I honor God? 2, did I honor my family? 3, did I honor my friends? And 4, did I honor the people that I care about? Now, if you don't believe in a higher power, that's totally fine, because I think that number 1 could also say, did I honor myself? Did I give myself enough grace and respect today? Was I gentle on myself because I know that's what I need right now? Or did I push myself because that's what I need? What we practice over and over, including how we treat ourselves and others, captures our heart and becomes habit. You've heard that before. Creating space in my week for sleep. What's that? 7 hours ago, I was dressed like Dolly Parton with really big boobies too, which made me but sleep, recreation, exercise, I'm going to throw those in there too. They're important. I don't make good decisions when I'm foggy or exhausted. And while doing all of this, I feel like it's so important to find peace and contentment and gratefulness with your current situation, whether good or bad, with whatever is going on around you. And I know that's super hard. But that's also an important piece to this. And so at some point today, and it doesn't have to be here right now, but at some point today, even if you're laying in bed tonight or laying next to your baby as you're putting them to bed tonight, I just want you to take a moment and close your eyes and imagine the best version of you possible. Because that's really who you are. So go be her.
So thank you so much, Shannon, for, oh my God, I was taking notes, mental notes in my head, but thank you. I really appreciate you coming out and sharing your knowledge and everything with us. So I have a few questions for you based on everything you said, because I actually had some questions ahead of time, but I forgot them. And but I picked up from so many things that you said about motherhood and how hard it can be sometimes and everything. So a question I have for you, Shannon, is so how have you defined success now for yourself?
Honestly, I think that it's having good boundaries. And I mean that with people, I mean that with my time, I mean that with how I treat myself. I feel like we're all just busy, and I hate when someone says, "Oh my gosh, how are you?" And oh my gosh, I'm so busy. I walk away from that conversation, and I'm like, did I see that? Like, there was just so much more I could have offered. We're all busy. So success to me is being able, it sounds crazy, to say no to things. To say no to things and to really know what is important to me and what I do want to focus my time on, and just, it's not even having a really good balance, because sometimes, let's face it, it's really hard, you have to work. It's just knowing where you want to get to and taking baby steps to get to that point.
So what are the things that you've struggled with, and what actions, like what key steps did you take to overcome that? Like, can you share that with us?
You mean in terms of like
what have you struggled with and all of that through that process?
Yeah, I mean, I struggle with a lot. Honestly, the biggest thing that I struggle with right now is comparing myself to other women, other moms. Comparison is the thief of joy. I say it over and over again to myself, and I'm trying really hard to stop doing that, and that also helps me create space. Like, I don't have to be at every event that I get asked to do. I don't have to, Pinterest my house for Halloween. I don't have to do all of these things that I feel inside like I kind of have to do. And I think just being able to recognize that is a really, really big feat.
Great. So now we're going to take some questions from the audience. Does anybody have any questions?
Don't be shy.
Okay. Hi, do we have a mic runner?
Oh, be really loud.
Yeah.
You have to get up pretty early in the morning for your job, right?
Yeah.
How do you do that and go in getting up so early in the morning and transitioning to being as on as you have to be in your profession?
Did everybody hear her question? So I wake up like between 3:30 and 4, depending on whether or not I have to wash my hair, full disclosure. I actually like waking up that early. It's weird. I think I've just done it for so long. But my counselor was actually saying this to me the other day. You essentially have 2 full-time jobs, right? Like, I work on the radio and it's just backed up into the middle of the night, but I do work a full job, and then I come home and I'm a mom, which is truly the harder job, until my husband gets home, really late at night. I do have someone who helps me until 3 o'clock every day. She's wonderful, and she helps me, get the kids to where they need to be when I'm not around. I wish I could say I was great about managing my sleep. I'm not. When I can, I take like a nap here or there. I drink coffee and water. I try to practice self-care to just make sure that I'm feeling okay. But to be honest with you, I feel foggy every single day. I am not, I have just kind of thrown up my arms and said this is the season of life for me, and I know I'm gonna miss this exhaustion at some point. I don't know when, but I will. And so I don't do a great job with that. I don't. And sometimes the crew on Mojo in the morning is so good. We're all very, very close. And they're so good at knowing she's having a rough day, and they pick up the slack a little bit for me. And regardless of what you do, I think it's important to have people in your life, be it friends or your husband or family members, that can kind of step in and help you when you're in that spot of needing help or just being really tired. Yeah. Yeah.
So I think we're out of time. Maybe we have one. Okay, we have time for one more question. Okay.
Hi.
So I feel like a lot of times, with all the different roles, working mom, being a mom, coming home to your husband, like my husband tends to be the one that gets neglected. So that's kind of the struggle that I'm focusing on and kind of have been neglecting for a long time and have kind of gone through this tunnel of the last few years. I'll try to dump it down, but I went through 2 rounds of IVF to have my son, worked full time as in a leadership position and all these things, and slowly I've been making changes to slow my pace down, to be there more for my family, but I'm still finding that disconnect with my husband. Is there something that like you make a priority that that we have to have a date night or we have to do something, just as like a tip for that?
Yeah, so I'm bad at that too, and Jackie, my husband's not here. We're actually going out on a date tonight. And he said to me, "Where are we going?" And I am not your employee. I'm not going to have a report on your desk by 8 a.m. We have always said that we were going to put each other before everything else, including our kids. And I totally understand that people look at me like I'm nuts when I say that. But we try. We're not always successful to put each other's needs first. We do something each day that is like an act of service for the other, something that's selfless for me to do for him to make his day better. I feel like I am constantly asking him that question. I'm probably super annoying, but I say, what is one thing that I can do to make today better for you? God, I hate the phrase date night so much, but it's important to spend some time, talking with each other and without the kids. That's really important. And I try to be super cognizant of not throwing him my leftover scraps of the day, because I know I do it. I am so exhausted by the time he comes home at 7 that I'm like, I got an hour or 2 of like okay Shannon in me, and then I'm done. And I feel like I constantly reflect like, ooh, I threw him scraps today. He got the leftovers of all of my energy and love and time and everything else. So it's like just trying to be top of mind with it, and you're not alone in feeling that way, right? You're not. Yeah.
Can you guys still hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I actually have an answer to that as well, because I'm very, very bad. I have a lot of things on my plate, and so by the time I get home, I'm exhausted. But here's one thing that I do. I think find one thing that your husband loves the most. Ask him, what do you love the most? What do you want me to do? What can make you happier every day? For my husband, he was like, I love it when you make dinner. So for me, no matter what, I'm telling you, even if I'm traveling. So last month, I traveled to Taipei, to Taiwan. And I was gone for a week. I literally made dinner for the 7 nights that I was out. And I froze, no, I'm serious, guys. It's super important to me. So I froze all of that, like I leave out everything Monday through Sunday. And he went and just grabbed it and, because he doesn't like eating out. And he loves when I make him dinner, and I know what he loves. You know what I mean? So I think find the one thing that your husband absolutely loves the most in the world and do it for him. Find a way to do it. And I think that immediately creates connection. So I was FaceTiming him from Asia. And I was like, oh, what are you doing, honey? And he was like, oh, I'm eating dinner. And I'm like, oh, really? Like, it's still
You're so nice. I'd be like, DoorDash, I'll give you the $5 coupon. That would not be my thing. If he said that to me, I'd be like, pick something else.
We have a cooking show. We can hook you up. So find something that he loves and absolutely flawlessly execute. I am very big on executing on things that matters the most to your kids, your family, because they come first. So if you can execute that, everything else will fall behind that. All right, thank you all so much.
Thank you guys.